My fiancé said, "You're too nice. I need a break to date a bad boy." I simply said, "Okay, I'll be bad." Then I canceled the venue, the caterer, and the honeymoon without telling her. Her panicked call came 2 days before the wedding she thought was still on. I proposed to Stephanie after 4 years of dating. She said yes. We set a wedding date, August 18th, 10 months to plan. Stephanie loved the idea of being married. She did not love the idea of planning a wedding. "Can you just handle it?" she'd said when we started. "Wedding planning stresses me out. You're better at logistics anyway." Fair enough. I'm an insurance accountant at Consolidated Financial in Tampa. Make $62,000 a year. Drive a sensible Honda Accord. Have a maxed out 401k and a diversified investment portfolio. Own a 2-bedroom house in West Chase with a reasonable mortgage. I can handle logistics. Stephanie worked as an ER nurse at Tampa General, made $58,000 a year. She was practical, responsible. We split everything fairly. We were a good match until she transferred to the emergency department at Bayshore Medical Center. Upscale private hospital, wealthy clientele, marble floors in the lobby, espresso machine in every break room. The kind of place that charged $2,000 for an IV bag and had valet parking for patients. The nurses there were different. They wore designer scrubs with their names embroidered in gold thread. Drove luxury cars on nursing salaries that didn't add up. Posted Instagram stories from their lunch breaks at restaurants in Hyde Park where I'd need a reservation and a credit check. Their names were Jenna, Scarlett, and Chloe. They took group photos with captions like "saving lives and breaking hearts," and "work hard, party harder," and "ER queens who know how to live." Jenna was 29, divorced already, currently dating a real estate developer who was really intense, her words. The kind of guy who wore suits to casual restaurants and talked about market cap during dinner. Scarlett was 31, engaged 3 times, never married. Now seeing some guy who owned a chain of CrossFit gyms and posted shirtless selfies with captions like "grind never stops" and "success is my only option." Chloe was 27, perpetually single, perpetually dramatic. Every weekend was a situation. Every Monday was a story about some guy named Zane or Blake or Hunter who was so toxic, but like in a hot way. These were Stephanie's new role models. Stephanie started coming home with opinions. "Babe, Jenna said we should have our wedding at the Vineyards at Sunset Bay. That place costs $15,000 just for the venue rental. So, we budgeted $9,500 for the venue. That's so boring. It's responsible." Scarlett's fiancé surprised her with a $40,000 wedding upgrade. Scarlett's fiancé is an orthopedic surgeon who makes $400,000 a year. You could be more ambitious. I could also be broke. Here we go again. We'd already booked our wedding venue. The Riverside Gardens on Fletcher Avenue, $9,500. Nice place. Holds 130 guests. Included tables, chairs, basic decorating, and a view of the Hillsborough River. We'd put down a $4,000 deposit. My money. The full breakdown looked like this. Caterer, Armature Works Events, $6,200 for 130 people. Deposit $2,500. Split between us, 1,250 each. Photographer, some guy Stephanie's parents found, $2,800. Deposit $1,800. Her parents paid. DJ, a guy I went to high school with, $1,400 paid in full. My money. Flowers from Petals and Poses on South Howard, $1,800. Deposit $700, split between us, $350 each. My suit from Men's Warehouse, $650, paid my money. Her dress from some boutique in West Shore Mall, $3,200, paid in full. Her parents paid. Honeymoon to Costa Rica, booked through 8AA Travel, $4,800, paid in full. My money, non-refundable through the travel agency. But I'd purchased travel insurance for $380 that covered cancellations for pretty much everything except cold feet. Total wedding budget, $30,300 price, reasonable for our combined income of $120,000. But Stephanie's new friends thought it was pedestrian. Jenna's wedding cost $85,000. Jenna's parents own 3 car dealerships in Clearwater. You're making excuses. I'm being realistic. Scarlett said you're too nice, that you don't have edge. Edge? Yeah, you're boring. You follow all the rules. You're safe. Those are good qualities in a husband. Not to my friends. Why do I care what your friends think? Because I care what they think. This went on for 2 months. Every dinner conversation became about how I wasn't exciting enough, how I was too predictable, too nice, too boring. The stress was affecting my work performance. I missed important client meetings because I was distracted. My supervisor, Janet, pulled me aside one Tuesday in March. "Brady, you've seemed off lately. Everything okay at home?" "Wedding planning," I said. Well, just so you know, the Hartley Group promotion is coming up. I was considering you, but I need someone who can stay focused." That promotion would have been a $12,000 raise. Because I was worried about wedding drama, I lost out on $12,000 a year. The irony wasn't lost on me. Meanwhile, Stephanie's transformation continued. She started coming home later, going out with her new friends on weeknights, spending money on clothes and makeup she didn't need. "It's called networking," she'd say when I'd ask about the $200 bar tab. "These women know people. They're helping my career." Her career as an ER nurse didn't require networking at wine bars in Soho, but what did I know? I was just the boring guy with the steady paycheck and the 401k. Then came the conversation that ended everything. We were having dinner on a Thursday night in May. I'd made pasta with marinara sauce. Nothing fancy, just something quick after we'd both worked 10-hour days. She was on her phone, scrolling Instagram, liking photos of her friends' latest adventures. "Stephanie." "Can you put your phone down? We're eating." "I'm texting Chloe. We're planning girls' night this weekend. We're trying to have dinner together." "God, you're so uptight. See, this is what I mean." I put down my fork. "What's what you mean?" She looked up from her phone, and I saw something in her eyes I'd never seen before. Not love, not even affection. Something like contempt. "My friends hate you," she said. "Excuse me? They hate you because you're too nice, too safe, too boring. They think I'm settling. And what do you think?" She was quiet for a long moment, looking at her pasta, then back at her phone, then at me. I think they're right." I felt something shift in my chest. Not heartbreak exactly. More like a lock clicking into place. "Okay? Okay what? If you think I'm boring, why are you marrying me?" "I don't know. Maybe I need to figure that out." "What does that mean?" She took a breath, the kind of breath people take before they jump off a diving board or deliver bad news. "I need a break." "A break?" "Yeah, before the wedding, I need to experience something different." "Different how?" "I want to date a bad boy, someone exciting, someone with edge, just to see what it's like. Then I'll know for sure if you're the right person for me." I stared at her. "You want to date other people 75 days before our wedding?" "Just for a little while, just to get it out of my system." "Get what out of your system?" "The curiosity. Scarlett said if I don't explore now, I'll always wonder what I missed." "Scarlett is giving you relationship advice. She's been engaged 3 times and never actually married anyone. She knows what she's talking about. She's experienced. Being engaged 3 times without following through means she doesn't know what she's talking about. See, this is what I mean. You're so judgmental, so critical. A bad boy wouldn't judge me like this. A bad boy wouldn't marry you either. I just need space. A few weeks, maybe a month, then we can get married like we planned." I sat there, looked at this woman I'd been with for 4 years, who I'd proposed to at Bayshore Boulevard during sunset, who I'd planned a future with, and I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just clarity. Like when you're doing your taxes and all the numbers finally add up. "Okay," I said. "Okay what?" "Yeah, take your break, date your bad boy." "Really?" she said, and I could see the relief washing over her face. "Sure, but you said I'm too nice. I need to work on that." "What do you mean?" "I'll be bad starting now." "What does that mean?" "You'll see." She looked confused but also excited, like she'd just gotten permission to do something she'd been wanting to do for months. "So we're good? We're on a break? Go do what you need to do." She left that night, packed a bag, and went to stay with Jenna in her South Tampa condo. The next morning, Friday, May the 6th, I called in sick to work. Not because I was heartbroken, but because I had business to handle. I started making calls at 8 a.m. sharp, the venue first. "Good morning, this is Brady Patterson. I have a wedding booked for August 18th at Riverside Gardens. I need to cancel." "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Let me pull up your contract." Hold music. Some instrumental version of Can't Help Myself by the Four Tops. Fitting. Okay, Mr. Patterson, I see you here. Per our contract, if you cancel more than 60 days before the event, you forfeit your deposit but owe nothing else. You're 75 days out, so you'll lose the $4,000 deposit, but you won't owe the remaining $5,500. Understood. Please cancel. Are you sure? This is irreversible. I'm sure. Confirmed. I'm sorry it didn't work out. Lost $4,000 of my money, worth every penny. The caterer next. Armature Works Events, this is Maria. Hi Maria, this is Brady Patterson, wedding on August 18th. I need to cancel. Oh no, is everything all right? Change of plans? What's the cancellation policy? Let me check your file. Okay, you're 75 days out. Our policy says more than 60 days, you lose the deposit, but no additional charges. So you'll forfeit $2,500 total. That works. Please cancel. I'll need to confirm this with both parties on the contract. It's just under my name. Stephanie Patterson is my fiancée, but I'm the primary contact. Okay, in that case, I can cancel. Done. Good luck with everything. Lost $1,250 of my money. Won $250 of Stephanie's money. Also worth it. The photographer was trickier since Stephanie's parents had paid. I called her father, Walter, at his office. He's an accountant too, works for the city of Tampa. Walter, it's Brady. Brady, how's the wedding planning going? That's actually why I'm calling. Stephanie asked for a break so she could date other people before the wedding. Long silence. I could hear him typing, then stopping. She what? She wants to date a bad boy to see if I'm too boring for her. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I agree, so I'm canceling the wedding. Good for you. What do you need from me? The photographer deposit. Don't worry about it. I'll call them and cancel. Keep your money. You sure? Brady, you're a good man. Stephanie's making a huge mistake, and frankly, I'm embarrassed. I'll handle the photographer. Thanks, Walter. Thank you for being honest with me instead of just disappearing. Lost $0 of my money. Stephanie's parents lost $1,200, but insisted on covering it. The DJ was next. My high school buddy Mike, who'd been excited to do the wedding. Hey Brady, what's up, man? Mike, I need to cancel the wedding. What? Are you serious? Yeah, personal issues. Dude, I'm sorry, but I'm already paid in full and the contract says no refunds within 90 days of the event. I know, keep the money. You sure? That's $400. I'm sure. Buy your girlfriend something nice. Thanks, man. I'm really sorry it didn't work out. Lost $1,300 of my money. Couldn't get it back anyway, and Mike's a good guy. The flowers were more complicated. Petals and poses. This is Ashley. Hi, I need to cancel a flower order for August 18th. Wedding. Last name Patterson. Let me look that up. Okay, here it is. You're 75 days out. We can cancel with a 50% deposit refund since you're over 60 days out. So you'd get $350 back out of the $700 deposit. The order is under Stephanie Patterson's name. She'd need to authorize the cancellation, right? Typically, yes. But if you can prove you paid half, we can refund your portion. We split the deposit. It's $700 total. We each paid $350. Can I cancel my half and get my $350 back? I've never had this request before. Let me check with my manager. Hold music. Okay, my manager says if you can provide proof you paid half, we can refund your portion and leave her half on the order. I can send you the Venmo transaction. It shows I sent her $350s with flowers deposit in the memo. Perfect. Send it to ordersofpetalsandposes.com. We'll refund $350 to the payment method associated with your email. What happens to her half if she doesn't show up for the wedding? That stays with the order unless she cancels. If she doesn't show up for the pickup, she forfeits it per our no-show policy. Understood. Sending the Venmo screenshot now. Got my $350 back within 5 days. Stephanie's $350 stayed on the order. When the wedding didn't happen, she forfeited it per their policy. Lost $0 of my money, got refund. Stephanie lost $350 of her money. The honeymoon was the big one. $4,800 to Costa Rica, non-refundable through Doleleye Travel, but I'd purchased comprehensive travel insurance for $380, called Travel Guard Insurance. Hi, I need to file a cancellation claim for a trip. Wedding called off. I'm sorry to hear that. Wedding cancellations are definitely covered under your policy. I'll need some documentation. What kind? Proof the wedding was canceled. Venue cancellation confirmation would work perfectly. I can provide that. Excellent. Email it to claims@travelguard.com with your policy number. Assuming everything checks out, you'll get a full refund minus the $500 deductible. So I get $4,300 back. That's correct. How long does processing take? Usually 2 to 3 weeks once we have all documentation. I sent the venue cancellation email as documentation. Got confirmation within 3 business days. Refund processed in exactly 2 weeks. Lost $880 total. $380 for insurance plus $500 deductible. Got back $4,300. Net saved $3,620 compared to losing the entire trip. Total financial damage assessment. Venue deposit $4,000. Caterer deposit my half if $1,250. DJ paid in full $1,400. Flowers deposit my half $0. Got refund. Honeymoon insurance and deductible $880s. Total spent $7,530s. Recovered. Flowers refund $350. Insurance payout $4,300. Total recovered $4,650s. Net cost $7,530 minus $4,650 equals $2,180. Meanwhile, Stephanie lost $1,250 from caterer and $350 from flowers, total $1,600. Her parents lost $1,200 for the photographer. All told, I got out of a wedding for $12,180s, the cost of clarity. 2 months went by. Stephanie texted me after the first week. Hey, how are you? Fine. Miss you. Okay. I'm seeing someone. His name is Zane. He has a motorcycle. Cool. You're being really mature about this. Thanks. She had no idea I'd canceled everything. The wedding was supposed to be in 75 days. Now, 68. Now, 60. Now, 50. I didn't tell her. She'd find out eventually. Her Instagram stories told the whole story. Stephanie on the back of a Harley, arms wrapped around some guy in a leather jacket. Stephanie at dive bars in Ybor City I'd never heard of. Stephanie with a guy who had a tribal tattoo sleeve covering his entire left arm and looked like he'd never filed a tax return in his life. Zane Foster was 32, between jobs, according to his Instagram bio. Bartender at some place called the Whiskey Barrel on Nebraska Avenue. Rode a 1995 Harley that was louder than a jet engine. Smoked American spirits. Had strong opinions about the system and how it was designed to keep people like him down. Posted photos of himself with captions like, "Live free or die," and "Rules are for sheep." He was exactly what Scarlett said Stephanie needed. Good for her. Meanwhile, I was living my best boring life. I focused on work, really focused for the first time in months. Without the wedding stress, my performance improved dramatically, Janet noticed. You seem much better lately, she said one afternoon in June. Personal life sorted itself out. Good. Because I'm reopening the Hartley group position. You interested? The $12,000 raise I'd missed out on earlier was back on the table. Absolutely. Great, we'll talk next week. I spent my evenings productively. Painted the spare bedroom a nice sage green. Fixed the fence that had been leaning since last hurricane season. Organized the garage and found tools I'd forgotten I owned. Read 3 books I'd been meaning to get to. Played video games without feeling guilty about wasting time. Saw my friends without having to check with anyone first. My friend Chris came over one Saturday night in June with a 6-pack of Cigar City Brewing. We sat on the back porch, listening to the neighbor's pool party next door. So Stephanie's dating a guy named Zane. Yep. And you're okay with that? I'm great. You seem great, that's what's weird. Why is that weird? Because your fiancé is on the back of some loser's motorcycle and you're painting bedrooms and reorganizing your garage. What else should I be doing? I don't know. Being upset, calling her, fighting for the relationship. Why would I fight for someone who doesn't want me? That's actually really healthy, man. I'm an accountant. I'm good at calculating outcomes. The outcome of taking back someone who asked to date other people before our wedding. Divorce in 3 years, losing half my assets, and probably paying alimony. When you put it like that, want to help me organize the tool shed? Sure. It was peaceful. Stephanie's Instagram stories were less peaceful. Every other day was Zane content. Zane's motorcycle. Zane's art, which appeared to be spray paint on pieces of plywood he found behind strip malls. Zane's deep thoughts, which were mostly reposted quotes from Fight Club and Joe Rogan podcasts. Week 4 of their relationship, she posted, "Sometimes you need chaos to find yourself." Week 5, "Nice guys finish last and I'm done coming in second place." Week 6, both posts were gone. Week 6, she texted, "I think I'm ready to come home." Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? I don't know. That you missed me. Did you miss me while you were on the back of Zane's motorcycle exploring chaos? That's not fair. You asked for space. I gave it to you. We should talk about the wedding. It's next month. Is it? Yeah. August 18th, remember? Have you been handling the last-minute details? I've been handling things. Good. I knew I could count on you. She came home the next day, Sunday, July 16th, moved back in like nothing had happened, brought a duffel bag and a story. So Zane and I broke up. Sorry to hear that. He was too chaotic, unreliable. He forgot my birthday last week. That sounds rough. Yeah, I realize what I have with you is special. You're dependable, stable, kind. You remember important dates. I thought I was boring. You're not boring. You're mature. There's a difference. What changed your mind? I got it out of my system. Scarlett was right. I needed to explore my options to appreciate what I had. Interesting perspective. So we're good? Sure. Great. I should probably call the venue tomorrow and confirm the final head count. And the caterer needs final menu selections by Wednesday. You should definitely call them. I will. Thanks for being so understanding about everything. The next morning, Monday, she went to work at Bayshore Medical, back to her old routine like the last 2 months hadn't happened. I went to my office at Consolidated Financial and had the promotion interview with Janet and the regional director. Brady, your numbers have been excellent this quarter, Janet said. The Hartley Group is looking for someone reliable, detail-oriented, someone who can handle pressure. That sounds like me. It is you. Congratulations. $74,000 starting next month. A $12,000 raise. The promotion I'd lost due to wedding stress was now mine because I didn't have wedding stress anymore. Tuesday passed quietly. Stephanie worked a double shift, came home tired, went straight to bed. Wednesday, she had the day off. I need to call the vendors today, she said over coffee. Finalize everything for next month. Sounds good, I said, heading to work. See you tonight? Thursday, August 16th, 2 days before the wedding that wasn't happening, I was at the office reviewing quarterly reports when my phone started buzzing. Stephanie, then again, then a call. I stepped into the conference room and answered. Hey, what the fuck, Brady? I held the phone away from my ear. Her voice was shrill, panicked. What's wrong? I just called Riverside Gardens. They said we canceled. Oh yeah. What do you mean, oh yeah? I canceled it about 2 months ago. When exactly? May 6th, the day after you asked for a break to date a bad boy. Why would you do that without telling me? You said I was too nice. I decided to work on being bad. This isn't funny, Brady. I'm not joking. The wedding is in 2 days. It was in 2 days. Brady, what the hell? Did you cancel everything? Yep. Venue, caterer, flowers, honeymoon, all of it. Complete silence on the other end. I could hear her breathing, fast and shallow. Then, even the honeymoon? Especially the honeymoon. Got $4,300 back from travel insurance, though. Thanks for pushing me to get that coverage, by the way. Oh my God, Brady. Saved $3,920 compared to losing the whole trip. The deductible was only $500. Pretty solid return on a $308 investment. I can't believe you did this. You asked for a break to date someone else. I assumed we were done. I didn't say we were done. I said I needed space. Right. So I gave you space and canceled our wedding, because why would I keep planning a wedding for someone who wanted to date other people? You should have told me. You didn't ask. You came back last week and assumed everything was still on track. You said, and I quote, I knew I could count on you. You were absolutely right. You counted on me to cancel everything while you were getting your chaos fix. Mission accomplished. This is insane, Brady. This is what happens when you ask a nice guy to be bad. Congratulations, you got exactly what you wanted. People are flying in from out of state. My family is coming from California tomorrow. You should probably call them and explain the situation. What am I supposed to tell them? Tell them the truth. You dumped your fiancée to date a 32-year-old bartender with a tribal tattoo, so he canceled the wedding. I hate you. That's fair. But you also said I was boring and too nice. So, really, you should be thanking me. This is the most exciting thing I've ever done, and it's definitely not nice. She hung up, called back 5 minutes later, crying. Brady, please, can we fix this somehow? Fix what exactly? The wedding. Can we rebook everything? Move the date? Sure, feel free to try. I don't have the money. The deposits are gone. I forfeited the deposits when I canceled. That money's gone forever. So what am I supposed to do? I don't know. Maybe Zane has a solution. Does he own a banquet hall? What about a nice parking lot behind the whiskey barrel? I'm not with Zane anymore. We broke up. Then I guess you're single and weddingless. We're not broken up, you and I. Stephanie, you asked for a break to date another man 2.5 months before our wedding. I canceled our off-wedding. We are absolutely definitively broken up. You never actually said that. I didn't think I needed to spell it out. You wanted to explore your options. I gave you the permanent freedom to do exactly that. I didn't mean permanently. You should have been more specific in your terms and conditions. I hate you so much right now. That's completely fair. But you also said I was boring and judgmental. So, honestly, you should be celebrating. This is exciting, unpredictable behavior. Very bad boy of me. She hung up again. Her friends started texting me within the hour. Jenna, you're such an asshole. Me, I'm a bad boy now. Isn't that what you all wanted for Stephanie? Scarlett, Stephanie is devastated. This is cruel. She seemed pretty happy on Instagram for the past 2 months. Chloe, you're petty and vindictive. I prefer strategically decisive, but tomato. Stephanie's parents called that evening. Walter was direct. Brady, we heard what happened. Yeah. Good for you, son. Really? Stephanie made a massive mistake. You did exactly the right thing. I appreciate you saying that. We're embarrassed by our daughter's behavior. We raised her better than this. Don't worry about the photographer deposit. We're not. That money's gone, and it should be. It's the least we can lose over this stupidity. Thanks for understanding. Brady, for what it's worth, we always liked you. We think our daughter is an idiot. Thanks, Walter. That means a lot. 6 months later, October 2023, I met someone new. Her name is Isabel Clark. She's a librarian at the Tampa Hillsborough Public Library downtown, makes $44,000 a year, drives a 15-year-old Honda Civic with 180,000 miles on it, thinks my 2019 Accord is practically luxurious. We met at a coffee shop in Hyde Park. I was reading a book about financial planning. She was reading Dostoevsky. We started talking about whether personal finance books counted as real literature. We went to dinner the next week and split the check without discussion. She didn't take photos of her food. She didn't mention Instagram or bad boys or excitement or edge. We talked about books, work, life goals. She asked about my 401k contribution strategy. It was the best date I'd had in years. On our third date, I told her about Stephanie. So your fiancé asked for a break to date a bad boy, and you canceled the wedding without telling her? That's the summary, yeah? That's the most passively aggressive thing I've ever heard. I prefer strategically assertive, she laughed. Did you ever regret it? Not for a single second. Good. She sounds like she wasn't ready for marriage. Definitely not ready for marriage to me. Her loss. We've been together 10 months now. No drama, no breaks, no motorcycles. Just two financially responsible people who think stability is attractive. We're talking about moving in together, maybe buying a house in Temple Terrace with better schools for the future. No wedding pressure, no timeline demands, just two adults building something together. Last month, Stephanie texted me one final time. I heard through mutual friends that you're in a relationship. I didn't correct her assumption about how serious it was. Yeah, that's good. I'm happy for you. Thanks. I hope she appreciates what she has. She does. I'm sorry, Brady, for everything. For listening to my friends instead of trusting what we had. For asking for that break. For taking you for granted. Okay. Do you think we could ever... No? You won't even consider it? Stephanie, you asked for a break to date someone else 2 months before our wedding. That's not something you come back from. People make mistakes. They deserve second chances. They do. And they also live with consequences. This is yours. You used to be more forgiving. You said I was too nice, so I changed. This is the improved version. I didn't mean like this. Yes, you did. You meant exactly like this. You just didn't think it through. She didn't respond. That was 6 weeks ago. I don't think about Stephanie much anymore. When I do, I don't feel anger or regret, just a mild sense of relief, like I avoided a bad investment. Isabel and I are taking things at our own pace. No external pressure, no friend group drama, just two people who share the same values and life goals. Life's good. Turns out being bad one time was enough to learn the lesson. Now I'm back to being nice, but the kind of nice that has boundaries, the kind of nice that knows when to walk away, the kind of nice that doesn't accept being someone's backup plan while they test drive other options. Stephanie wanted excitement and edge. I gave her the most exciting moment of her life, realizing that actions have consequences. Funny how that worked out. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Thanks for watching.